Did you know that Coachella is known as the Influencer Olympics? I am chronically online, so I know a lot of things about this little world that is Coachella. But today, mostly, I want to comment on the performances by the headliners, especially the Justin Bieber reappearance, right? But not actually reappearance because he's been performing the past few years. But what he did in that concert and the controversial opinions people are having about it. But yeah, welcome to this episode desse podcast que é para você sempre ter o seu contatozinho ali com o inglês toda semana, porque aqui a gente fala muito sobre isso. Você só consegue ter uma fluência fluida e real se você tem intimidade e contato, e se você alimenta a sua fluência todos os dias. É assim que a gente constrói uma fluência de verdade. É por isso que a Wave tem tudo que você precisa, desde podcast, a newsletter, a conteúdos em inglês e materiais de estudo, acompanhamento sem aulas e curso também. Então, enfim, o nosso objetivo é realmente para que você tenha uma plataforma, todo um ecossistema para alimentar sua fluência, para conhecer mais do nosso mundinho, @wayfluency, em todas as redes, mas principalmente no Instagram. E você pode entrar em contato para entender mais como é que funciona. Mas se não, toda quarta-feira, 6 da manhã, a gente está aqui no Pod para falar de assuntos aleatórios, de falar de cultura pop ou de apenas falar sobre assuntos da vida, mas tudo isso em inglês. E toda sexta-feira, 6 da manhã, tem newsletter ensinando expressões novas em inglês, tá? Confesso que não tô tão disciplinada na newsletter, mas é porque eu ainda tô pegando ritmo. Com o podcast também começou assim, né? Meio pra lá e pra cá. Mas agora, ó, toda quarta eu tô aqui. E toda sexta-feira eu vou estar lá na newsletter, ok? But anyways, let's go back. Because in the past few days, my all my social media has been all about Coachella. I've been following all the commentary on Coachella since like in the past few years. And I talked about this on the last episode because I'm always watching YouTube channels and a lot of them are commentary channels, right? And every year they comment on Coachella. And before I talk about the Justin Bieber versus Sabrina and also Karol G, like the opinions people are having about it, did you know that Coachella is known as the Influencer Olympics? This is so weirdly weirdly funny. It's funny, but it's also a little unsettling, like uncomfortable to hear about because they call it the Olympics because basically it's the influencer Disneyland. They literally hire stylists to dress them for this festival. They have invitations. They get invitations from brands, right? Which is kind of normal because this happens in Brazil too. But you have no idea how expensive Coachella is. So they have a lot of privileges for being influencers. A lot of them are on the internet begging, begging. It's like implorar. A lot of them are on the internet begging for brands to take them. They literally humiliate themselves looking for tickets, free tickets. And it is truly a competition of who's gonna be the most talked about, who's gonna dress the best. And I've seen a lot of people complaining because this year the tickets sold out so quickly. And this takes us to Justin Bieber, which I'm gonna talk about very soon. But a lot of things have happened this year. For example, the tickets were $600, $600, okay? And $1,000, I think, for the VIP area. Yes, you can convert that to highs. Yes, do it. Do it. Just so you can have an idea how expensive it is. Airbnbs around the area were canceling reservations made previously and relisting, like announcing the houses, again, relisting the houses for a much more expensive price. And Airbnb didn't do anything about it. A lot of people like made their reservations months prior to the festival and they just lost it because the Airbnb hosts were being so dishonest and a lot of people like got into trouble because of that. The Uber prices were crazy. The food prices were crazy. There was a food trailer there that you could eat poke and sushi in paper plates. And the just to have this experience of visiting this trailer, it was like 300 reais. Oh, $300. So you can imagine how crazy it is to go to Coachella, especially not like especially if you are from another country that and you don't make your money in dollars, like I was trying to convert and I just gave up because it seemed like an impossible like idea for us Brazilians, for example. But there were Brazilians there for sure. I just can't fathom, I just can't comprehend the amount of money to go to a festival like this. Although I would really like to. Like it seems like a nice experience, especially because they get to have artists and headliners that we almost never get in Brazil. Although one of the headliners this year was Sabrina, and we had Sabrina here, but it was very, very, very different. Like, just so you can have an idea, for international artists, headlining Coachella is a life dream. Like, it's one of the biggest goals you could have as an artist is headlining Coachella. There's a video of Sabrina going around the internet that a few years ago, I don't know if it was last year, but she was one of the performers and she said, see you soon, Coachella, because I'll be here headlining very soon. And this year she was a headliner. Like this is a huge accomplishment for her career. It's like truly one of the biggest things you could do as an artist. So I don't think us Brazilians here in Brazil, we don't have a lot of idea what it's like to be at Coachella. Because here, for example, if I want to go to Rock in Rio or Lollapalooza, I am a normal human being and I can totally buy a ticket and go, you know. But Coachella, it feels like a whole other experience because it is expensive, even for an American. And also, it's a fashion competition. So at Lola, for example, you could dress whatever the way you wanted, and nobody cared. But Coachella feels like it's like an art festival. It's a little more than just a music festival. It's a whole experience. So it's interesting to watch that, but at the same time, I still think American culture is crazy. And talking about the tickets, apparently they were having some trouble selling out the tickets. When you sell out the tickets, it's because you sell all the available tickets, right? So I've heard that in the past few years, Coachella was having some trouble selling out the tickets. I mean, I can imagine that it's because they were really expensive and maybe the artists weren't so big that people wanted to see them, that people were willing, like dispostos, people were willing to pay for these artists. But this year, they brought Justin Bieber, and it is a huge pop culture moment. It is. Although I have my opinions about his concert and about what he's been doing lately, but Justin Bieber is huge, right? Like he's one of the biggest names in pop culture of the past decades, and he is he's a moment of pop culture. Like he's a big symbol of that. And because they were bringing Justin, the tickets sold out like on the same day. It was crazy. And it was the first time they were able to do that in the past few years. So imagine that. Imagine spending that much money and it actually was sold out. But what is interesting is that a lot of people bought those tickets to go see Justin, and I'm sure the experience was great for the people who did it. But let's talk about it. So, what I've been seeing on my social media is the controversy between Sabrina's concert and Justin's because Sabrina had a type of Hollywood performance. She literally brought movie stars to perform with her because her concert was full of acts and scenes and different moments, and the stage was like a movie set. Actually, the performances looked like a movie. It was very, very, very well done and elaborate. And Sabrina is truly an artist. She's a diva. Oh, she's a Disney child, and turned into a pop diva. So I think that her concert was so remarkable for pop culture in the sense that we love performance. We people who listen to pop and people who grew up with pop, we grew up watching our favorite artists doing this type of performance. Like uh pop used to be so colorful and so lively and so I remember that I grew up every watching TVZ and MTV every morning, watching their music videos and watching concerts, buying DVDs for people's concerts, and like the visual part is so important for pop listeners. I feel that a lot about Cat's Eye because even though I don't like Cat's Eye music, okay, I have to admit that. But I love the visuals. The girls are so beautiful. They have such a distinct personality. The performances are so beautiful to watch. They dance so well. And that's why I like Atai. Like, if you grew up with pop, if you like pop, you know that a huge part of pop is the visuals. So Sabrina did exactly that. And she did it in an amazing way. You know, it was like watching a true artist do, like, be born, but she's not being born right now. But it was like you could see Pop reliving in that performance. And it's so nice to see. I felt that in her performance at Lola because she's very performative, and it's like you are watching an actress sing songs. That's why I always say that Disney never left her body because it feels like you're watching a Disney star. I don't exactly like that. For example, I enjoyed Chapel Roan better than Sabrina's concert, but what she did at Coachella, you could see that she's been planning this for years, maybe. And keep in mind that while she was preparing for Coachella, she was touring around South America, going to Lollapaloozas in other countries too. So it's amazing to see what you could do. And then we have Justin Bieber. When I saw the first video about his performance, I wasn't watching the performance. I just saw it on Instagram. I was like, what? He literally grabbed a chair, a little table, a laptop, and then he started playing YouTube videos. But okay, let's think about it. I totally understand using YouTube videos to and listening to the audience's suggestions, because the audience was asking, oh, play this song, play that song, blah blah, and then he was doing what people were asking for, right? So he put the song on and he started singing. Okay, I guess for the fans that were there, it felt like you were in a karaoke night or watching YouTube videos with your male friend, like your boy best friend. It's not a good experience, but at the concert, I think it must be nice. It must have been nice, right? But then, okay, first he eventually started playing memes, YouTube memes, his own memes like memes. What? Actually, one of the videos that he played was that one where he says, "It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business." Do you know that video? That paparazzi were bothering him and he was a little out of control that day and he started yelling at the paparazzi. This is a classic video. It was very famous, very popular because it became a meme. Like it's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business. He looked like he was going through something. Justin Bieber is always going through something, right? But when that video came out, people were really worried about him. Like it was during that time that everybody was worried about his health and his mental health. So that video was a little concerning, like preocupante. at the time. And now he's using this video as a meme. Like, what? We've been worried about you the past few years. You are clearly not doing well, right? Because we can clearly see that Justin's not doing well. And now you're making jokes about it, but at the same time, we know you're not well. You are not in your right mental state, you know? So it felt a little weird to see him making fun of that time in his life when he never talks about it. We never understand what's going on because after P. Diddy was investigated and he went on trial and he got arrested, then he got like we don't know what's going on, and we know that Justin was a victim. At the same time, we have to live on conspiracy theories about it because he never talks about it, which he doesn't need to, right? Like he's not forced to say anything about such a traumatizing thing. But it's so weird that we've been worried about you the past few years, and now you're making fun of the one of the craziest times in your life. You are always doing crazy things on camera. You are always treating your wife poorly. We can clearly see that you're not a good husband. You don't seem like a good dad. Like you don't have your mind in the right place, of course, because he's a traumatized person, you know? He's a child of the industry, and this is not good for someone. And we know what he's been through. So it was a little weird to see him because it didn't look like Justin Bieber. It looked like a guy that just wanted to be there to be controversial. You know, knowing Justin's attitude in the past few years, it looked like that concert was just to piss people off. Piss off. É tipo irritar. Irritar alguém. Piss off. Quando você está pissed off, é porque você está puto com algo. So for me, it looked like Justin did that on purpose. He knew exactly what he was doing, obviously. But I feel like it was to piss people off because he knew it would be controversial. If you look at everything Justin has been doing the past few years, his main goal in life is to be controversial. Why is he yelling at his wife in front of everybody? Why is he saying crazy things on the internet in front of everybody? There was a day if you looked at his Instagram feed, you knew that he was on drugs doing something crazy. Like he's not in his right mind. At that day, he was posting some crazy things on his Instagram. Nothing makes sense. He says some crazy things on his stories, his feed, and on the videos. Like you always see him going nuts, and then suddenly he's headlining Coachella. So people didn't know what to expect, right? But of course, we shouldn't expect a performance, a pop performance, right? Who could expect that from Justin? But a few months ago, he did a private concert only for friends and invited people. And that performance was like people talked about it so well. People said that it was a big moment. It was so beautiful, so emotional. I'm pretty sure it was the performance that he took his shirt off. He wasn't even wearing clothes for this performance. He just had some jeans on and a pair of sneakers, and that's it. I think it's the same performance, but people talked good things about it. You know, like it was emotional. He sang some old songs. He sang the new songs. So I think that knowing that he would be at Coachella, I thought that it would be a nostalgic concert too. And don't get me wrong, if even if he got just a little stool, like banquinho, a stool, and a microphone, and he sang 2 hours of his old songs, I would think that that was beautiful. You know, that would be beautiful in my point of view, being a Justin old fan and being nostalgic with Justin songs. But the YouTube thing, the laptop thing, if you watch the his conversation with the audience and his posture and the way that he spoke, it didn't look normal to me. It looked like he was on drugs. And it looked like he wasn't even realizing what was happening. I don't know. It felt really weird to me. Uh, there's an expression in English that it's like mentally check out. If you watch the concert, it looks like Justin mentally checked out. Do you know what this means? When someone mentally checks out. É tipo fazer o check-out da mente. É tipo assim, ó. Ó, eu desisto. Sabe essa ideia de, tipo assim, eu desisto, eu cheguei no meu limite mental e eu não quero estar mais nessa realidade. This is mentally checking out. So it looks like Justin mentally checked out. He didn't look connected to the audience, you know, but it's so crazy to know that he was the most well-paid headliner of Coachella. Can you believe that? And if you look at Sabrina's concert and Carol G, the other headliner, her performance, they were so well done. And the structure was so beautiful. Like, you can only imagine the preparation that went into making a performance like that. And to know that Justin was the best paid one, that they paid him the most to do that. Like, if he had removed the laptop part, I would have loved the concert. Yeah, fine. Sing your nostalgic songs, beautiful. But the laptop thing sounded, it seemed to me that he was just being controversial. And his fans defended him like, "Oh, that's the point, right? He wants to be ironic. He wants to show that he's not gonna be performing for the industry anymore." And the YouTube thing was a way to be nostalgic because that's how he started as an artist. Yeah, fine, fine, I understand that. But it seemed off. When you say that something is off, it's like it's not normal. It's not normal. Something was off in that concert, and I don't see how we could be saying that it was genius. It was genius. I don't think it was genius. I think it was just wanting to piss people off. And of course, let's wrap it up. Let's finish with the classic argument, the obvious argument that people are just praising him. Praise, it's like elogiar, né? Elogiar, assim, ficar dando hype pra isso. People are only. Eu tô perdendo a tradução de praise. Praise é quando você elogia, é quando você bota alguém lá no pedestal. So, people are only praising Justin because he's a man. Because if you had a woman pick up a stool, a table, and a laptop and started playing YouTube songs, people would never forget this. And her career would end, basically. At the same time, I agree that we can't compare Sabrina's career to Justin's, right? Justin, like I said in the beginning, Justin is so big in the industry that yes, he can pick up a stool, a laptop, and start singing songs totally. Because he is one of the biggest names in the industry. His fans are the old timers, we grew up listening to Justin, so yes, he can do this. But at the same time, I think about other big names in the industry like Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, even Lady Gaga. And if they did that, we would never forgive them because what we expect from pop divas is so much more, and they can never deliver something less than that. Okay, Beyonce. Imagine Beyonce doing something like that. I don't think people would understand like they're understanding Justin Bieber, okay? So, like, I agree that he's so big in the industry that he gets to do that. He can do that, but at the same time, I didn't like it, I just didn't like it. Okay. And to wrap it up, I want to talk about two other controversial things that people are talking about uh, on this topic on Coachella. The first thing is Sabrina made a mean comment, mean like malvado, like mal intencionado. She made a mean comment at her fan. She was playing a song on the piano and everybody was silent. It was like a slow song, and a girl was making a sound with her mouth, and it was really, really loud. And Sabrina was like, "Who is doing that? Who is doing that?" And then she said, "It's me, Sabrina. I am. It's from the Arab culture, Arab like Arabi." And she said, "Oh, it's my culture, because apparently it's a way that they use to celebrate people." But it was a really loud noise from her mouth, right? And then Sabrina said, I don't like it. Can you stop it? You know, she was rude. And people said, well, she was being loud, she was interrupting the concert, but at the same time, she was just a fan, like on like close to the stage. And was it really interrupting Sabrina's concert? I don't think one person is capable of doing that. Also, Sabrina could shut up. And as when she heard like, "Oh, it's from my culture." Okay, don't say anything else. But no, she was very mean. She was very mean because she said like, "I don't like that. Stop that. Like, what is this?" You know, she was really mean. And people are saying that this is Sabrina's sense of humor. And I mean, yeah, okay. Because Sabrina is known for being ironic, sarcastic. She has a little dark humor, right? If you pay attention to her sense of humor, she doesn't care. She just says whatever comes to her mind. But she was a little rude. And if you look at her face, she wasn't kidding, like brincando. She wasn't. She wasn't joking. She wasn't playing with the fan. No, she was rude. She was serious. She was really bothered by the sound. And it almost looks like she was disgusted, you know? I think it was weird because if you see other videos where Sabrina is like making little jokes and being playful, like brincalhona, playful with her fans, it's very different from that moment. Because at that moment, it looked like she was being very rude. And guys, Sabrina is a pop diva, a Disney star, a blonde girl, uh, beautiful, pretty, privileged. She is a mean girl. Can we admit that? Even if we are fans, even if we like her, can we admit that she's a mean girl? Right? It's pretty obvious to me. It's the same thing with Chapel Roan. Like, of course she's mean. She doesn't like being famous. She's from a very small town in the US. She is a white girl. She is a pretty girl, a talented pretty girl. Yes, they are mean. So okay, I like Sabrina, but I can see that she's mean. She is a mean girl. If you pay, no, 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 like, I have to talk about this. If you listen to her songs, you can see that she's a mean girl. Come on, guys. Listen to Taste and look up the story behind Taste. It's her song for Camila Cabello. And it's rude. It's rude. And it's like, I don't know. Like it's ugly, you know. Also, uh, the first song she made for Olivia Rodrigo because they had that situation, right? They had this that competition with a boy. Her first song to Olivia is called Skin. Listen to Skin. Look at her the lyrics. She's a mean girl. Okay, I love Sabrina, but she's a mean girl. She's very centered around men, and she puts men above many other things apparently. So, you know, she's a Hollywood artist. What else did you expect? And another comment was about Carol G's concert because I didn't talk about her in this episode, but I thought it was really interesting. My friend watched all performances. She commented on a lot of performances and she was commenting on Carol G's. And she said that she was 30 minutes late and she literally had to cut her performance short because she was late and Coachella has a specific time to finish, right? Like you have to finish your concert and people have to go home because there's a limit. And she literally had to cut the concert short, you know, like interrupt the concert. She finished earlier she literally cut a song in the middle because she didn't have time to finish. It was weird. Like she was singing a song and then she said, "Wait. We have to stop. We have to stop because I need to finish my concert. So let's sing one more song." And then she finished the song with the last one. What? In the middle? No, I'm not kidding. Look for this video on the internet. She's literally singing and dancing and she's like and then she touches her ear so you can see that someone is talking on her ear, right? And then she touches her ear. You can see that she's singing, but also listening to someone speak here. And then she said, wait, 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 we have to stop. We have to stop. I have to go in the middle of the song. That was weird. What happened there? And why was she 35 minutes late? It was weird. But oh, and also this friend, I don't listen to Carol G, but this friend said that she skipped a lot of popular songs, a lot of hits from her career. She didn't sing them, and she believes that she didn't sing these songs because she was late. So that was a little weird, right? But at the same time, she was the first Latina woman to headline a Coachella. Very late, by the way, to do that. But yes, she was the first one. So that's a huge thing, right? The performance was super beautiful. The stage was so well done. Like she is a true artist too. It was so nice. Like so the visuals were so pretty. She talked about Latin culture. It was really nice. But there were these two things. The fact that she was late and she had to cut the concert in the middle. It was weird. And that she skipped a lot of songs, probably because of that. So I thought it was interesting to comment on that. But I'm not a listener. And maybe I should get into Latin music because Bad Bunny and Karol G and Anita, people are talking about them a lot lately. So who knows? Maybe I'll start listening to them. But yeah, this is like a summary of all the things I've seen on social media about Coachella. And I'm not an expert. I'm not a pop culture commentator, but maybe I should become one, right? If you want more comments like this of all the things I see on social media about pop culture in general, please let me know. And also, I really want to know your opinion on Justin's concert. Are you on the team Justin? Like, yes, it was an amazing show, very nostalgic, or are you on the opposite team that thinks he was lazy and, just terrible? Because I'm probably on that team. But yeah, I'm gonna stop here and I hope I'll see you on the next one. Bye.